Welcome to the Language Fuel podcast. Our mission is to fuel the teaching and learning of languages worldwide. I'm your host, Joanna Smith. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Language Fuel podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is episode number 32. Today, we have a treat for you. Rather than me talking about a specific subject, as I often do, we have my youngest daughter, Tessa. And today, Tessa is going to perform for you the speech that she has given recently at her primary school. And I have to be completely honest with you, this had nothing to do with me, her mother. She picked up this topic of her own accord, she did all of her own research, and she wrote the whole speech. But it sits very well inside our Language Fuel mission, which is to encourage the learning and teaching of languages worldwide. You might recall, if you are a regular podcast listener, that a few episodes ago we talked about Duo Lingo, and I reviewed that app, and I mentioned during that episode that my family had started using it to learn Spanish. So Tessa's speech is, as you will hear shortly, a result of that and her experiences with that. And she's encouraging everyone who listens to learn another language. So I hope you enjoy Tessa's speech. So it's a very short podcast today. We'll be back again next time. I've got an interview planned for our next episode. Do remember to join us and subscribe to the Language Fuel podcast by heading over onto iTunes if you're an Apple user, or Stitcher Radio if you use Android, searching for the Language Fuel podcast, and go ahead and click subscribe. And we'd appreciate any reviews as well, so if you're in the mood for a review, that would be awesome. Here's Tessa.
Hola, me llamo Tessa. Hi, my name is Tessa, and the aim of this speech is to encourage people like you to learn a new or second language. To start off with, anyone can learn a second language. With the right mindset, you can do anything. Personally, my family has recently started learning Spanish. Plus, it has never been easier. You used to have a class that you would go to learn a second language, but now you can sit at home on your couch. With apps such as Duo Lingo, you can get started and learn quite a bit of a second language. You can even order books or take online courses. Secondly, learning a second language helps you to be a much better multitasker. It also keeps your brain active. Research shows that if you learn a second language and think everything over twice, once in each language, you will understand things a lot better than if you only use one language. If you only know one language, you are monolingual, 2, bilingual, 3, trilingual, and more than that, multilingual. But not just that. If you learn a second language, you will be more confident in almost everything. Did you know that if you learn or know French, Spanish, and English, you will be able to go to and speak to locals in approximately half the countries in the world? How cool is that? So, travel. See the sights, eat the food, meet the people. Once you know the basic, immersing yourself is definitely the best way forward to keep learning. An example of that is if you have a holiday in a place where they speak the language that you want to learn, you will have to do everything in that language. From going to the movies to doing your shopping. Everything in that language. You'll find you will learn very quickly. On the other hand, there are some cons to think about when considering learning a second language, but I think that the pros trump them. It's hard because in your native language you know this much, same as everyone else, but in your new language you start off knowing this much. If you think that it's hard to find a word in your native language, it'll be even harder to find it in your new language. While starting to speak a new language, you will probably embarrass yourself a little, which can even start to feel a bit uncomfortable at times. Lastly, learning a second language is fun and sometimes funny. I know that on Duolingo they teach you some pretty funny things that you will most likely never say, but is helpful in your learning. Like, I am a cat, I speak Spanish. Soy una gata, habla español. Once you have learned a second language, you can sing along to songs in that language, like Despacito, Spanish. Best of all, sometimes the words in the second language are just so much better than the English, e.g., manzana, apple. In conclusion, viva la lengua!
Thank you for listening to the Language Fuel podcast. You can navigate to the show notes and links via our homepage at www.languagefuel.com. See you next time.